So not having MSG will Tyndall again start it right?
Yeah, Tyndall will play again for us at right. You know, I've been real happy with his work ethic and his development lately. I think, you know, again, he played the whole game and had a solid game for us last week.
Do you think that was one of your better games out of your offensive line?
In some ways, yes. You know, I've always taken the deal that it's a process, it's improving. You know, statistically, it was definitely one of our better games.
In what ways are you resisting saying yes?
Well,
besides the final score.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest way. You know, our number one goal is to go win the game. You know, and stats are nice and all, but the stat that counts is on the scoreboard.
Any thoughts on why the Rigsby brothers appear to be your most penalized members of the line? What is it about those two guys that they appear to?
You know, I think a lot early on, and Jordan, you know, he's a young guy. He's a very fiery guy. He's got a great future ahead of him. At times, you got to slow him down, which you'd rather do than the other way. You know, he's only a redshirt freshman, so some of that, you know. I think the penalty has been pretty balanced. I think we've been better as the year's gone on. We started the year off, as you guys remember, having some bad ones. Now we had a couple last game and a couple we overcame. Can't say what I want to say, so we'll just leave it at that.
I'm sure you can.
After watching the film.
Talk about Bridgebird's play and what he's shown you in practice, given the first team reps for 2 weeks now.
Yeah, you know, Bridge is like I've said all along. I mean, he's a student of the game. He's a worker. I mean, he studies film. You know, his consistency, his knowledge, all those things is top notch, and you've seen that. I think, you know, getting that leadership starting to come out of him now that he's been in that role and being able to take it and kind of lead his other guys.
What do you expect out of the Oregon State defense that he didn't see a week ago?
Well, you know, this is from Oregon's defense. I mean, comparing the two, you're asking me. You know, there are a lot of differences in these two defenses. These guys, they have some scheme things that are pretty sound, and they just execute so damn well as a defense. You know, these guys do a great job coaching them. They don't try to trick you as much as they just try to beat you in the one-on-ones.
Going back to Bridgeford, both you and Jeff constantly said how he prepared, student of the game. I haven't heard anything about his actual playing ability.
Yeah, you know, I think.
Why don't either you or the head coach talk about him as a player? You know, as opposed to this.
It's like saying he has a nice personality. But.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I don't think it that way. I've been there. He's got a great arm. He's got a great vision. He's got a great feel for the game. You know, we need to go give. You know, if you're talking about what a goal, I think as our staff would be, is for us to go give him a chance to really go shine.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
For us as a staff to really give him a chance to go shine and have a great game. And I think he's very capable. He's got the vision. He understands the offense. He's got the arm, the throwing ability, all those things. We just need to go play. So in no way did I mean it as a negative. You know, those are the things when you think of them that jump out at you.
Was the difference between his play in the first half and the second half primarily that you were trying to catch up in the second half?
I think there's a little bit of that. I think, you know, Oregon's defense did a very good job against us in some ways too. So, you know, the hard thing for a quarterback is they get too much blame a lot of times, and they get, you know.
He seemed efficient and composed in the first half, and then the second half he had a couple picks, and you know,
and then one was the one the Turner was a screen, and you know, if we would have done this different, we would have done that different, and we would have slowed that nose guard up a little bit more before.
You're supposed to let him through, but not quite that fast.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's a whole bunch of those things.
It seemed that in the beginning of the game, running inside, really the A and the B gaps was working. I think there was a series where EC ran the same play 3 times over left guard and wound up scoring on the third one.
Yeah.
What caused you guys to go maybe to try to go to the outside? Was that to try to get?
It's always, and even those plays that you're talking about were actually read plays where he's reading the defensive end first, which could go outside. So a lot of them are kind of built to where the defense gives us the hole. That's actually a wide play, the one you're talking about, but their defense was flowing so quick, and even the inside D tackles were flowing so much, everything was coming back inside and found the soft spot, made great reads and made great runs. We didn't get away from any of that in that deal. You know, we're always trying to kind of keep those guys off balance a little bit defensively. at times you got to go extra, you make one block.
But isn't there also a sense of, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, if it's working, stay with it?
Oh yeah, we did. We very much did.
He's saying they reacted differently to it and
yeah,
closed off those holes?
Yeah, they reacted differently, or one guy missed a block here, and then all of a sudden, and that kind of throws you off track. It's pretty good when it's all clicking, but you gotta, in the game of football, they're not all big runs, and they're not all big passes. You gotta overcome the other one.
Rainy weather expected to be a factor in your.
I think it's always an issue, but we'll see. It's going to be wet, but we practice for being wet. I mean, we use, that's not an excuse. That's nothing. We prepare for that. So
the strength of what you do on offense most of the time seems to be your run game, and that seems to be what they're best at defending. Is that
they're
your strength against their strength?
In a lot of ways, it is, and they're very, like I said, they're very personnel-wise, very stout, very physical defense.
Are they similar in style to what Stanford does, as opposed to?
No, Stanford's more of a 3-4 team. This is more of a 4-3 team. They're very. They got good stout. They have 350-pound D tackle in there. They're very stout. They're very. They're hard to do some things against just because of how they play and how efficiently they play it. You don't catch these guys making any mistakes. They don't gamble. They will bring pressures. They will change things up, but they don't gamble and put themselves out of position.
What are you seeing out of the freshman offensive line, guys like Cochran and Okafor and
I think they got a great future. I really do. I've been real happy. We have all the recruiting rankings and this and that, and to me, I always like to take the recruiting rankings and look at them 5 years later. I think that's the true test of recruiting. But I'm real excited about that group. I think they're extremely hard workers, smart young men, have all the physical tools. How they develop. Freddie is the one that we didn't redshirt. He's been playing something a little bit more every time. I think that group's got a good future if we keep going the right direction.
You envision Cochran as a starting center next year even?
If you asked me who the starting center was the first day of fall camp, I would have told you I don't know, and it ended up being Swanky all year. So I'm not, we'll find out. We're going to put the best 5 guys we can out there.